This is a video for a gold panning episode. So we're in Colorado. We got a wonderful little stream behind me, as you can hear with the noise. But we're going to kind of show you some of the tools that we use when we go gold panning. So right here is kind of our setup. So you can kind of see we have our strainer, that green bucket right there, and then we have two types of rock hammers. I always like to bring two types of hammers. You never know what you're going to run into. So it's nice to have a pointy hammer, the typical rock hammer, and then that flat edge hammer as well, just to kind of pry rocks apart, to kind of really get up and see where you're going to find that gold. You can kind of see that creek right there. It has a lot of bigger rocks, so there's going to be some spots that each one of those rock hammers is really going to pay a difference, and you'll see when we kind of go in there as well. And then we have our classic gold pan, big ridges right through there, and we got just a couple fancy tools. You don't always need these, but they're kind of nice to have. A little magnetic tool separator when you get into those fine sands, those black sands. Of course, little suckers, little bottles to keep your findings, and then some little tweezers and a magnifier. So let's get at it. Okay guys, I found a nice little spot here, and it's kind of cool because it's you kind of see the creek right there, and it's in this little cubby hole. And that's exactly kind of some of the spots I like to look for when I'm actually panning for gold. Because you think about gold being a really heavy metal, it's going to carry back in these small little pockets. So you can kind of see my little shovel. I've been kind of digging away back through here. And there's a decent amount of like bigger rocks kind of back through there. So ideally what I want to do is kind of get up underneath some of those bigger rocks, because that gold's going to settle over time. You know, when these storms kind of come through and the mud and water kind of flows down through here, everything's going to get kind of buried over time under some of these big rocks. So theory kind of goes, if you can kind of remove some of those bigger rocks through there, you're going to find some of that gold underneath it. But to kind of get an idea of what that sand looks like, you can kind of see it right there. So it's good indication because there's a lot of good just pebbles, smaller rocks in there. And it's going to do well when we kind of put it through that screener first, and then you'll kind of see what we get after. But it's a nice kind of different colors, nice different soil, dirt. So we'll see what happens. Okay guys, we have a nice little sample here. What I like to do is kind of put like, 3 or 4 scoops, maybe like 3 cups, something like that, of soil that you think is going to have gold in it. And so we kind of filtered a lot of the bigger rocks out. So now you can kind of see this gold pan is just kind of floating on the water right now. So we can kind of show you how we want to exactly gold pan. So there's a lot of different ways you can do it. What I like to do, I like to have at least pretty much, 3/4 of my pan in the water, just like so. And you may be worried that a lot of your gold's going to fall out, but it really won't, because that, like we said, that gold is really heavy. It's going to sink down to the bottom. And what you want to look for is just to kind of remove all that excess, and it's going to kind of come over those ridges. And even, something what I do even when I start is you don't even have to use those ridges to start, because you kind of just want to get rid of all the excess stuff. And you can be kind of aggressive with this as well, because you're just trying to remove all that excess stuff. So you can kind of see we got a lot of those big pebbles, some moss, some grass and stuff in there. You can kind of see there's a lot of different types of rocks through there, which is kind of cool. So we're just going to kind of keep shaking it until we get down to that fine sand. Okay everybody, got a check up. We're starting to get more into that sand, so it's kind of getting right where we want it to be. You can kind of see some of that darker sand mixed in, so we're going to keep shaking. And when I'm shaking a lot of this stuff, it's kind of fun because you don't really want to be too aggressive, especially when you get down towards that sand. You're going to see it kind of spill out over those ridges. So you just want to do a little bit, just a nice little circle motion. And then sometimes what I'll do, I'll move everything kind of back towards the center of it, and then just kind of keep going. And then you recenter it, and just kind of keep letting those sediments fall out. Because like we said, that gold's going to stay behind, so we're just trying to get rid of everything else. Just nice little circle motions. Okay, check-in time, you guys. So you kind of see we're getting down to that really fine sand now, and we're finding some unique kind of things. So whether that's mica or silver, we're finding some things that are starting to shine back at us. And that's one thing that's kind of fun when you get close to this sandy material, is you can kind of put it up over the edges, those ridges up there, and then just kind of shake it down and kind of see what gets caught up in there. So it's a good chance, in case you ever find a gold nugget or a big flake, you don't like to always throw out your big chunks so quick. You want to just keep looking, so you never know what you might find. No gold nuggets yet, but we're going to keep checking it out. Okay guys, this is probably as far as we're going to go on this pan. You can kind of see we're left with just small sediments. And we don't have the best sun right now, but you can definitely see a couple of little flakes up through there of that beautiful gold. And what's kind of fun is I usually put it to one side, all my sediments to one side, and then still keep a little bit of water. And when you're squatting down, you can kind of still make those little circle rotations, and it's going to kind of move your sediments around so you can kind of see layer by layer what's underneath. See how that sediment's moving down? And then you can actually see the little flakes a little bit better. Not a lot of dark sand in this, but there's definitely some color. Definitely saw a couple silver flakes. If not silver, it's mica. They're both pretty similar. But some good old gold panning.